Big homie wanted to look like a gay painter.
From openly mocking Jay-Z for allegedly trying to imitate a famous gay painter, to straight up calling him out by claiming his entire rise is tied to marrying Beyoncé, the shots didn't stop there.
When Jay signed his contract, the big one was with Beyoncé. When he signed that contract, the marriage contract, he got trophies. Now those trophies came rolling in.
50's been on Jay's neck for decades. But now, Jay finally fires back, breaking his silence in a clip that's lighting up the entire timeline. Let's get into it. The Super Bowl scandal that almost wasn't. Alright, so peep this. There's been something low-key brewing in the hip-hop streets for a minute. Now something a lot of people slept on and didn't fully clock. And it involves two of the most powerful figures in the music industry going head-to-head in a battle that goes way beyond the studio. We're not talking charts, streams, or radio spins. We're talking boardrooms, corporate leverage, and power plays that decide who gets put on, and who gets left standing outside looking in. And what makes this whole situation extra spicy like cookout conversation spicy is that this isn't some dusty late 90s beef that should have been buried with throwback jerseys and Rocawear fits. Nah, this is recent, very recent. According to 50 Cent, Jay-Z allegedly orchestrated a behind-the-scenes move to keep him off one of the biggest stages in America, the Super Bowl halftime show. Let's rewind. February 13, 2022. Super Bowl 56, SoFi Stadium in Inglewood, California. The culture was hyped. For the first time ever, hip-hop was front and center at halftime. Dr. Dre, Snoop Dogg, Eminem, Mary J. Blige, and Kendrick Lamar, all sharing the stage. A certified moment in history. Then out of nowhere, like a ghost from the early 2000s to 50 Cent, drops in, hanging, upside down, performing in DA Club in that iconic pose from the music video. The internet lost its mind. Memes everywhere. Nostalgia overload. But according to Fifth himself, that moment almost never happened. And the reason he points the finger at Jay-Z. Now this is where the power dynamics come into play. Since 2019, Jay-Z's company, Roc Nation, has been partnered with the NFL to oversee the Super Bowl halftime show. That means Jay has serious pull from artist selection to creative direction to who even gets in the building. This is the man who helps decide who gets a career-defining moment on the most watched stage in American television, and according to 50 Cent, Jay used that power to try and keep him out.
Jay-Z told Dr. Dre, just for people who's not up on this, or Eminem, that he didn't want you to perform part of that Super Bowl that they had a couple years ago.
Back in December 2024, 50 pulled up on Cameron Sue's show, Come Talk to Flea, and let it all fly. He broke down how Jay allegedly went straight to Dre and Eminem, telling them he didn't want 50 anywhere near that halftime performance. But here's where it gets really interesting and really telling. That moment put a spotlight on the day one loyalty between 50 Cent and Eminem. That's not industry friendship, that's
Why do you think that is?
Well, I just think,
Threatened?
possibly. Not even threatened. You know, I think it's just when you take the competition from, like, our culture is competitive, man. It is, but I think when it goes past the music itself to blocking things in business, then I don't understand that.
You heard that right. 50 isn't talking about creative differences or scheduling conflicts. Fam, he's straight up accusing Jay-Z of using his corporate power to deliberately block another artist's moment. And when you really sit with that, when you let it marinate, it becomes clear this isn't just about two rappers who don't rock with each other. This is about power, control, and what happens when old hood beefs get weaponized inside corporate boardrooms. But hold up, the plot thickens because 50 also claimed that Eminem stepped in and gave the NFL an ultimatum. He allegedly told them he wasn't touching that stage unless 50 Cent was included. And this isn't just 50 talking. Tony Yayo, Gionit brother, backed up this entire version of events during his interview with DJ Vlad, confirming that the pressure from Eminem is what ultimately changed everything.
For me, I mean, Jay, you know, you gotta remember, he didn't want 50 at the Super Bowl. That was crazy. Come on.
Wait, Jay didn't want 50 at the Super
You didn't
Bowl?
know that? Yeah, he didn't
Well,
want.
I remember Eminem pushed for it.
That was some hated. Yeah,
I remember
pushed for it,
Eminem
yeah.
was like, I'm not going to do it unless 50 does.
Think about what that really means for a second, fam. One of the most anticipated halftime shows in Super Bowl history nearly lost Eminem, one of its biggest draws. A certified legend, all because Jay-Z allegedly tried to keep 50 Cent off that stage. That's not petty rap beef anymore. That's corporate-level chess. The kind of behind-the-scenes maneuvering that can cost networks millions and have an entire organization looking wild on the biggest night of the year. Now, 50 has been speculating on why Jay would go that hard to keep him out. In a July 2024 interview with The Hollywood Reporter, he put it plainly, "They wanted to leave me out of it. It was them fighting for me to stay out. That should be in the NFL paperwork by now. Eminem is not performing without 50. Then in October 2024, When he pulled up to the Breakfast Club, 50 doubled down. He said Jay had blocked him, and at first, the blame was quietly being pushed onto the NFL to avoid any direct smoke. But 50, said he, peeped the play. People behind the scenes tipped him off exactly where that resistance was really coming from. So the real question becomes, what would make one of hip-hop's most powerful figures allegedly try to sabotage another artist's Super Bowl bag? According to 50 himself, it all traces back to competition. Competition that grew way bigger than just music.
Goes past the music itself to blocking things in business, then I don't understand that. Like right now, he's not even competing for a slot. You don't have a new song out that he want to be on the top 10 or top 5, and you still competing. It just don't make sense. Like, what are we competing for?
50 Cent has long theorized that the real tension goes far beyond music. According to him, his massive success in television, especially the Power franchise on STARZ, didn't just make him relevant again. It made him a direct competitor to JSE's entertainment empire. This stopped being about hot verses or first-week sales a long time ago. This is about empires, about market share, about who controls the business narrative of hip-hop's future. And perhaps most revealing of all, 50 pointed out that when this controversy first surfaced, the NFL quietly absorbed the public blame. But he says he always knew the decision didn't start there. The corporate shield was up, plausible deniability was in place. But 50 wasn't fooled. He was convinced Roc Nation was calling the shots and that Jay-Z was pulling the strings. What makes the allegation even more explosive is this: Jay-Z has never publicly addressed it. Not once. That silence has spoken volumes. Some fans interpret it as a dignified refusal to engage in petty drama. Others see it as a tacit admission that 50's accusations might carry more truth than anyone in Jay-Z's camp wants to acknowledge. The story quickly spilled beyond just 50 across social media and hip-hop circles. Broader conversations started forming. In September 2024, Cameron and Ma$e openly speculated that Jay-Z may have blocked Lil Wayne from performing at the 2025 Super Bowl due to unresolved past tensions, drawing clear parallels to what allegedly happened with 50 Cent. Too many fans. A pattern began to emerge. A pattern of Jay-Z allegedly using corporate influence to settle old scores and keep rivals off the biggest stages. Reactions were predictably divided. Some sided with 50 Cent, calling Jay-Z a gatekeeper abusing his power. Others defended Jay, pointing to 50's long history of instigating beef and arguing this might just be another chapter in his legendary trolling campaign. As always, the truth likely lives somewhere in the complicated middle. What is undeniable, however, is this: no official statement from the NFL, Roc Nation, or Jay-Z has ever confirmed or denied 50's claims, leaving his narrative to dominate the conversation. And for those paying attention, that silence speaks loud. But to really understand why this conflict runs so deep, why Jay-Z would allegedly go to such lengths to keep 50 Cent off the Super Bowl stage, you have to go all the way back to the beginning, the origin of an eternal war. Every great hip-hop rivalry has an origin story, and the tension between Jay-Z and 50 Cent traces back to a time when Curtis Jackson wasn't yet a platinum-selling mogul or a vitamin water millionaire. Back in 1999, he was just a hungry rapper from Queens, stuck in a stalled record deal, sitting on nearly 40 unreleased songs that nobody seemed to care about. So 50 did something audacious, something that would define his entire career. He decided to rob everybody, not literally, metaphorically, inspired by the Notorious B.I.G.'s 1993 track, Just Playing Dreams, where Biggie fantasized about women in the industry. 50 flipped the concept into a robbery fantasy. The result was How to Rob, a song where he imagined sticking up nearly every major rapper and singer in hip-hop, and Jay-Z wasn't spared. One bar aimed directly at him, implying even success wouldn't protect him. It was bold, disrespectful, and exactly the kind of guerrilla marketing an unknown rapper needed to get noticed. The record spread like wildfire, white label vinyls hitting DJs like Funkmaster Flex at Hot 97, reportedly spinning up to 650 times a week, circulating through mixtapes across major cities. Suddenly, everyone was talking about this kid from Queens who had the nerve to name drop over 40 industry giants in a single track. Most artists laughed it off. Some ignored it. Jay-Z did neither. At Hot 97's Summer Jam in 1999, Jay responded with a now legendary freestyle, delivering a line that would define their dynamic for decades. I'm about $1. What the F*** is 50 Cent. It was dismissive, clever, calculated. Jay positioned himself as real currency and reduced 52 pocket change. The line later appeared on its Hot Some Like It Hot from Volume 3, Life and Times of S. Carter, released in December 1999. And from that moment on, the lines were drawn, not just between two rappers, but between two men destined to build competing empires.
Never been no 50 Cent Jay-Z conversations. Of questioning whether there was a competition between the two of us. There's a huge difference in energy internationally in 50 Cent and Jay-Z. In fact, his largest selling record sold 430-something thousand copies. My largest selling records, plural, 2 of them sold 5 million.
50 Cent didn't stay quiet. In 2000, he fired back with Be a Gentleman, a direct response that openly questioned Jay-Z's street credibility. In the track, 50 mocked Jay's age, image, and claims of authenticity, arguing that commercial success didn't automatically translate to real street respect. 250. Fame and credibility weren't the same thing. The back and forth had all the ingredients to explode. Even further, but fate stepped in the most brutal way possible. On May 24, 2000, 50 Cent was shot 9 times outside his grandmother's house in Queens. He survived against all odds, but the aftermath was devastating. Columbia Records dropped him, shelved his debut album, Power of the Dollar, and effectively erased him from the industry. The rivalry was forced into hibernation. For the next 2 years, 50 rebuilt from the ground up, recovering physically while grinding relentlessly on mixtapes. Meanwhile, Jay-Z continued his reign, releasing The Blueprint in 2001 and solidifying his dominance. The tension never disappeared. It just stayed dormant. Then everything changed in 2002. 50 Cent re-emerged, this time backed by Eminem and Dr. Dre, signing to Shady Aftermath. When Get Rich or Die Trying dropped in February 2003, it didn't just succeed, it detonated. The album sold 872,000 copies in its first week and eventually went diamond. Songs like In DA Club and 21 Questions took over radio, clubs, and culture. Suddenly, the question wasn't whether 50 Cent was legitimate, it was whether anyone could stop him, and Jay-Z saw it coming. In a 2013 interview on The Breakfast Club, Jay admitted he warned his ROCO fellow artists about what was on the way. I'm telling you, y'all got a chance right now. Flood the market, put out as much music as possible, because 50 Cent is coming. What followed was an uneasy truce. In 2003, the two appeared together in a Reebok commercial and even co-headlined the Rock the Mic tour. They crossed paths creatively, Jay rapping over 50's beats, while 50 launched his G-Unit sneakers, which he later claimed outsold Jay's S. Carter, line 6-2-1. On the surface, it looked like peace, but underneath, the tension never fully disappeared. 50 continued to position himself as the more dominant global force, frequently pointing to international sales and touring numbers to make his case. The rivalry hadn't ended, it had just evolved.
Huge difference in who we are with each other internationally. Let them be fooled in America and think there's a competition there, because America could be purchased. We can buy it with marketing dollars. You see what I'm saying? But the rest of the world, there's not enough marketing dollars to go around to change the way the rest of the world feels.
50 Cent has been unusually candid about what he sees as Jay-Z's core weakness, a tendency to avoid direct confrontation. According to 50, instead of addressing conflicts head-on, Jay-Z has often relied on others to speak and act on his behalf.
He's
This criticism extends to Jay-Z's public persona as well. 50 Cent has famously referred to Jay-Z as the coolest punk in hip-hop, a deliberate contradiction meant to suggest that Jay's polished, corporate-friendly image makes him approachable in ways that actually weaken his street credibility.
He's the coolest punk in hip-hop. His presentation makes people decide to say,
oh man,
you know, because he's big, and his take on it is bigger than the actual art form. He won't actually.
The implications are clear. In 50 Cent's view, Jay-Z plays the game differently. He avoids direct confrontation, operates behind layers of corporate structure, and lets systems and sometimes other people fight his battles for him. Whether that's strategic brilliance or a fundamental weakness depends entirely on who you ask. What's undeniable is that their rivalry has long stretched far beyond music. In 2004, 50 Cent made a move that would redefine how artists approached business. Instead of taking a traditional endorsement deal, he partnered with Glasso, the makers of vitamin water, and accepted equity. When Coca-Cola acquired the company in 2007 for $4.1 billion, 50's stake reportedly earned him between $60 and $100 million after taxes. Around the same time, Jay-Z finalized his own landmark deal, selling the rights to his Rocawear clothing brand to Iconic's brand group in 2007 for $204 million in cash. Both deals were historic. Both were wins. But 50 never missed an opportunity to frame his vitamin water payout as the smarter, more lucrative play, reinforcing his image as the artist who outmaneuvered the industry instead of playing by its rules. As the years passed, the business shade never really stopped. Each man continued building empires that increasingly competed for the same cultural space. Then came 2007, and one of the most talked about moments in hip-hop history, West's graduation and 50 Cent's Curtis dropped on the same day, setting up a first-week sales showdown unlike anything the genre had seen. When Kanye won decisively minus 957,000 copies to 691,000 50 Cent accused Jay-Z of playing chess from the shadows. According to 50, Jay used his position as Def Jam president to ensure Kanye had every possible advantage, effectively defeating 50 by proxy. The accusation fit perfectly into 50's long-standing narrative, Jay-Z, as a master strategist who never gets his hands dirty. But in recent years, 50 has pushed the rivalry into even more controversial territory, one that touches Jay-Z's most significant personal relationship and what 50 calls the Grammy theory. If the Super Bowl, ALLEGATIONS, were explosive, this took things to another level. Across multiple interviews in 2023 and 2024, 50 Cent floated a theory that both entertained his supporters and enraged Jay-Z's fans. That Jay-Z's historic Grammy success, now totaling 25 wins, the most ever for a rapper, is tied less to his solo artistry and more to his marriage to Beyoncé. It's a claim that cuts deeper than charts, deeper than money, and straight into legacy. And like everything else in this rivalry, it forces one uncomfortable question: where does genius end and influence begin?
Look, when Jay signed his contract, the big one was with Beyonce.
Mhm.
When he signed that contract, the marriage contract, he got trophies. Now those trophies came rolling in.
To be completely fair, Jay-Z actually had 4 Grammy wins before his first collaboration with Beyoncé, not just one, as 50 Cent claims. But there's some truth to 50's broader point. Jay-Z's Grammy success accelerated dramatically after his association with Beyoncé began. Of his 25 total wins, 21 came after 2004, coinciding with joint projects and his evolution into a mogul and family man. 50 Cent has tied this trend to what he sees as Jay-Z's carefully calculated image transformation, a shift that positioned him as not just a rapper, but a cultural icon with power, influence, and mainstream appeal.
You're saying the success is derived from the marriage.
I've absolutely been treated differently.
The accolades. Because he's no longer viewed as like a street or gangster rapper. Now he's viewed as a businessman, entrepreneur, family man.
And the biggest ones, because of the position Beyonce's.
Oh, wow.
Right? You were connected to the...
To be completely fair, Jay-Z actually had 4 Grammy wins before his first collaboration with Beyoncé, not just one, as 50 Cent claims. But there's some truth to 50's broader point. Jay-Z's Grammy success accelerated dramatically after his association with Beyoncé began. Of his 25 total wins, 21 came after 2004, coinciding with joint projects and his evolution into a mogul and family man. 50 Cent has tied this trend to what he sees as Jay-Z's carefully calculated image transformation, a shift that positioned him as not just a rapper, but a cultural icon with power, influence, and mainstream appeal.
Image yourself after a gay painter. Your big homie want to look like a gay painter.
What are we talking about here?
We're talking about Basquiat. He wants to look like a gay.
That's 50 Cent accusing Jay-Z of modeling his entire look after Jean-Michel Basquiat. And while the comment might seem random, it shows just how far Fif is willing to go, attacking Jay from every angle. His appearance, his authenticity, his business dealings, even his personal relationships. 50 Cent has mocked Jay-Z's 444 album, calling it golf course music, basically suggesting it's elitist and out of touch with the streets that made HOV famous. He's poked fun at Jay's image with memes, highlighting how quickly time has caught up with him. The irony? Both men came from nothing. One from the Marcy projects in Brooklyn, the other from the streets of Queens. They built billion-dollar empires, and by all accounts, they should respect each other's grind. Instead, for 25 years, they've waged a Cold War, evolving from rap battles to business conflicts to social media trolling. But 50 Cent has been consistent in his assessment. He doesn't dislike Jay-Z personally. They're cordial in person. The issue is Jay-Z's modus operandi, using corporate power to settle personal scores, hiding behind business structures to avoid confrontation, and cultivating a safe public image that shields him from consequences. 50, on the other hand, thrives on discomfort. His persona is built on being confrontational, where Jay is calculating, public, where Jay is private, aggressive, where Jay is diplomatic. One thing is certain, this rivalry isn't going anywhere. As long as 50 Cent posts on Instagram and Jay-Z runs his empire, the shots will keep firing. Some subtle, some explosive, but all keeping hip-hop's longest-running Cold War alive. What makes this moment in their story so compelling is the convergence of multiple threads. The Super Bowl allegations exposing entertainment gatekeeping, the Grammy theory challenging the legitimacy of music's top awards, the claims about Jay's personal image, and the fact that both men built everything from nothing. Now, their separation is philosophical as much as anything else. 50 Cent moves through the world with his chest out, unafraid of consequences, posting through controversies most celebrities would hide from. Jay-Z operates in silence, letting lawyers and corporate structures do the heavy lifting, rarely responding publicly. They represent two approaches to power: the gladiator and the emperor, the street corner and the boardroom, the comment section and the contract clause. Perhaps the most telling thing about this saga? Despite the diss tracks, the sales battles, the business clashes, the social media trolling, the Super Bowl allegations, neither man has destroyed the other. Both remain standing atop their respective empires. Both achieved what would have seemed impossible to their younger selves. And both, whether they admit it or not, have pushed each other to become better, hungrier, more strategic versions of themselves. That's the nature of a rivalry that lasts a quarter century. It stops being about hate and starts being about definition. Each exists in part in opposition to the other. Their identities are forever intertwined in the story of hip-hop's corporate era. So the next time you see 50 Cent post another meme about Jay-Z, or hear about another blocked opportunity or corporate maneuver, remember, this is bigger than beef. This is two kings fighting for the same throne, using weapons that didn't exist when they first started rapping. And if history is any indication, we're nowhere near the final chapter.